9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fan, the Competition Plus Power Hour is live, presented by Weldon High Performance. I am next to Darren Williams Jr., the assistant editor for CompetitionPlus.com, aka American Hot Rod Entertainment. I'm also Lee Kraft, aka the Monday Morning Racer. Darren, we've always got something good to talk about in the world of drag racing, but it was a special New England Nationals and Thunder Valley Nationals at Bristol Dragway.
James Roger Lee Kraft. What a weekend we saw in Thunder Valley. There's three things guaranteed in life. There's three things: death, taxes, and Bobby Cottrell winning a Nostalgia Funny Car.
Well, as I had someone comment on the post in which you shared to the Monday Morning Racer Facebook page, did anyone have any doubt? Did anyone ever doubt?
Well, here's the thing, and we're going to get into Epping, run in Bristol, and the Thunder Valley Nationals. But here's the thing with Bobby Cottrell, Bucky Austin, and that whole team, the Northwest Hitter team. When you think of that team, you think of dominance, right? Of course, they win all the races, but off the trailer, they're not always the fastest car. They always let the track. Bucky lets the track, and the tune-up comes to him, and they get better each run. They get better and better and better, and then they find a way to win. They can find a way to win rounds. They find a way to win races, and that's what champions do, and they did that this past weekend. Did not have the fastest car, but they still found themselves in a winner's circle, and they do this all the time. That's why they're the champs.
That's right. They were not number one qualifier. That was
Kamaka Pocock.
Yeah.
Kamaka Pocock. California Hustler.
That's right. And he's a Hawaiian boy, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, got some real West Coast representation with him out there in the neo-nostalgia ranks of the Legends Nitro Funny Car Series. Hey, it was cool to see Chuck Lofton, Funny Car Chaos competitor. He got an invitation to go out. They took it up, the invitation that is, and are competing there at Bristol, competing in Bowling Green from what I understand. And he definitely showed that the Funny Car Chaos competitors can create the chaos in round one. He got up on the wheelie bar really high, almost put it in the wall, but was able to gather it back up before striking the wall. I thought the Legends Nitro Funny Car Series put on a good show for the fans. Sure. There were many people remarking that, hey, those are cool cars, and that they would love to see them again. And you do have the opportunity to see them. It's this very weekend, Bowling Green, the Wally Parks National. Is that what they're calling it now?
Wally Parks NHRA Nostalgia Nationals. Yes. And Don Garlitz will be the Grand Marshal.
Spectacular. No, that's going to be a good show in and of itself. And speaking of drag racing this weekend, well, the NHRA may not have a national event going on this weekend, but there's plenty of drag racing. As we just mentioned, Bowling Green, Kentucky. What a phenomenal facility and historic facility. Another historic facility that's going to have an epic drag race. That is Funny Car Chaos, qualifying 32 cars. We have over 40 cars that will be on the property. Funny cars with Nostalgia Pro Stock and many other type of classes there as well. Cordova. That's all you got to say.
Nah, it's going to be a great weekend. So far, the Funny Car Chaos season has been amazing. Before we move on, though, I want just a quick shout out because you mentioned Kamaka Pocock. And, for me as a West Coast guy, it was really cool to see a lot of these West Coast racers on the big stage, on the NHRA National Event Circuit, racing at Thunder Valley with that big, great tower in the background. For Kamaka Pocock, for people who don't know, like you said, he is from Hawaii. And he actually, his first year in Nitro Funny Car driving the California Hustler was 2021. Actually finished second in the world to Bobby Cottrell and won not the Legends Nitro Funny Car, but the Legends of Nitro Rookie of the Year. 2022, they kind of took a step back. They brung on Mark Lee, who's the crew chief here this year in 2023. Mark Lee has worked with Dale Pody and James Day back in the day, and so they've really turned that program around. You saw that here this weekend. Qualified number one with a 475, had low ET in round number one, 478. Couldn't get the job done against Cottrell in round number two, but that team is turning it around, going in the right direction, and I for sure believe you'll see Pocock in the winner's circle not long from now.
Well, that will be good to see. Nothing wrong with someone being successful, but I have to disagree with Patton in the beginning of the movie Patton, where he states, Americans love a winner. No. What we really like are underdogs with the potential to win. That's what we really like as Americans.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there are plenty out there that want to see the Mean Green Machine not be in victory lane, but one of those other beautiful cars that are out there in the Neo nostalgia ranks. So yeah, it's going to happen. Out of the individuals that were there that weekend, if I remember correctly, points leader going in, Tim Boychuk had a rough
He did.
weekend. Qualifying was, obviously in the show I don't think qualifying was the effort that he wanted. And it seemed like Bristol was a challenging track for the Canadian.
Nah, and it has been. And so you go back just a few weeks ago to the Igniter, the Funny Car Igniter in Boise. He actually qualified number 1, but red lit in the first round against Drew Austin. So you think he'll try to come back and try to avenge that here in Bristol. But like you said, blew the tires off right at the head on 2 runs during qualifying, and then crossed the center line, hit the blocks in round number 1 against Cottrell. So yeah, a weekend to forget for the happy hour Camaro driver, Tim Boychuk.
For all of you out there, if you did not see the action on the national broadcast, I'm not sure what the national broadcast did or did not have. I was there in attendance. Monday Morning Racer on my YouTube channel, we will have elimination coverage of the Legends Nitro Funny Car Series from the Thunder Valley Nationals. Looking forward to getting that out.
Awesome.
On the show tonight, we have 3 guests. 2 will be on at the same time, and then we'll have one toward the end of the show. David Davies, a regular here in the Competition Plus Power Hour, instrumental in the success of NHRA FlexJack Factory Stock Showdown, along with a development driver, part of the DH Davies Racing Camp, Madi Turley, or Mopar Madi, as she is affectionately known. And then Steve Johnson. No telling what Steve is going to say after an epic win in Bristol for the Thunder Valley Nationals. We all wondered when Gage Herrera would lose, and it happened, honestly, Darren, the way in which I thought it would. It would be him stumbling, and he turned on that evil red light.
Man, he did. And I'll tell you what, so on NHRA.TV, right, they didn't show the Christmas tree. So when they took off, I'm like, wow, Gage Herrera got a big jump on Steve Johnson, and Alan Reinhart immediately goes, red light. I'm like, oh, shoot. I was like, the streak is over on Inside the NHRA. I compared it to when Brock Lesnar snapped the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania. I believe it was, I don't know which WrestleMania it was, but like in 2014. I compared it to that.
No.
I know.
That's way off. You cannot compare that streak to what Gage, if Gage Herrera had won Indy for 11 years in a row, come on.
It was for fun. It was for fun. It was for fun. But like I mentioned, Gage Herrera had a chance at making history if he would have won that final round. He would become the first person in Pro Stock Motorcycle to win the first 4 races of the season while qualifying number 1 4 straight times. And history was not able to be in Bristol because of that red light. But how about Stevie J? I'll tell you, I wanted to see how far Gage Herrera could take this, but like everybody knows, I'm a big Steve Johnson fan, so it's great to see him back in the winner's circle. First win since Charlotte 2022.
It's going to be enjoyable to chat with him. I want to know what the Wally was saying to him this time, because he had to shush to do the interview. So I want to know what the Wally was speaking to him in the moment of that win.
Have you noticed he does this now when he wins the race? He goes and sits by the motorcycle now, right afterwards. I noticed he's done that. I like that. Oh, and also, he always brings up the hobby racer deal. I love when he does. He knows
Steve knows how to stir it up just a little bit. He knows how to do that for sure. Hey, Andrew, your question here. I just want to throw out there that Bristol was actually supposed to be a race where there was to be an exhibition of Factory X, and as far as I saw, there was no exhibition of Factory X. I think right now it's a situation where no one is ready, especially after Jeff Turk had his incident on the top end. I believe even at Bowling Green is where he was actually testing. So I don't think anyone is quite ready. I think with Jeff having that incident, they might have gone back to the drawing board to make sure these cars are a platform that can get down the track. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating there, but I have not heard much news at all. We'll have to ask Bobby Bennett about what is going on with Factory X and get some update there, Darren. Definitely looking forward to that class coming out in NHRA. Maybe even Mr. Davies could have some insight for us with his involvement in everything Door Slammer, it seems.
And I'm happy that Andrew asked that, because I was actually going to ask you that coming on the show is what was up with Factory X. So you basically just confirmed that right there. There was no
didn't see anything. If it went down the track, I completely missed it. And I don't think I missed that much. And I would have kept my eye out and kept my ears perked for Factory X. I am certainly looking forward to that class coming to fruition and being out there in NHRA competition. Darren, Justin Ashley pulled off a rare feat.
He waxed the
possibly field. Something that no one has done, because it's not just the win for the New England Nationals. It's not just the win of the Thunder Valley Nationals. He picked up even the Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge win. He just won it all. The only thing he didn't do was qualify number one.
Justin Ashley, Mike Green, Tommy DeLago, they waxed the field this past weekend. Like you mentioned, won the New England Nationals, won the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, won the Thunder Valley Nationals. And I'll tell you what, first round against Dan Mercier, when he cut that 038 light Friday night under the lights, I'm like, oh, this is about to be a long weekend for the competition. We all know Justin Ashley's always great on a Christmas tree, but just from that run, I was like, it's going to be a long weekend for them. And just think about this. 4th win of the year, has won half the races, 9th career win overall, gets number 8, number 9 this past weekend. And here we go. 9 championship bonus points from Mission Foods Challenges wins. He already has half of a round going into countdown. That's amazing. Let's see how far he can keep this up. But right now, Justin Ashley is for sure the championship favorite and top fuel eliminator.
Completely agree. Has to be considered right now the championship favorite. Granted, as we have seen, and the fly in the ointment of any contender type of talk and situation goes back to last year, Robert Hyde. Anybody, no matter how dominant, can lose it in that countdown scenario.
Yeah.
They've got to be hot at the right time. And they had an opportunity last year and were hot at the right time in moments, but then they chilled to a super cold at times when they did not need it. They got to be there when it matters. But certainly strong statements made by that entire team at this point.
And Lee, and we always talked about Justin Ashley and that team. They win a race and they go out first round the next race. They win a race and they'll go out first round the next race. Well, what did they do this past weekend? They win a race and they go on and win the race right after that. So the consistency is starting to be there too. And like you said, at the end of the day, in NHRA in 2023, in this day and age, it's all about the countdown and getting hot at the right time. So Don Moore, he says, I predict Justin Ashley will be the top field champion this year. And I can't disagree with that, but it's still a long way to go. Still a long way to go.
Long way to go. And you see some cars coming around out there. I definitely think, and in interviewing Tony Schumacher, who was inducted into the Legends of Thunder Valley this past weekend, asked him, hey, do you feel like the plan is coming together? And he said yes. And they did make a final round in the Epping edition there at Bristol and did go past round 1 as well for the Thunder Valley Nationals. You have Clay Milliken. He feels like they are making strides to regularly performing well. And look, Leah Pruitt went out there and qualified number 1. Now, she lost to a very good part-time car in Dakin's hot rod with Spencer Massey at the wheel. But there are plenty enough cars. Again, the competition, we say it regularly, how tough it is. Right now at the top, though, for sure, Justin Ashley. Erica Enders. Finally, we do not have to talk about when she is going to win. We all knew that they would win again. It happens at the Thunder Valley Nationals. Bristol, certainly in door slammer country. The top gal in door slammers gets it done.
It's kind of cool how it was, kind of a little bit of redemption after what happened last year. Remember last year against Troy Coughlin Jr. in the final round, had that, I guess, excuse me, Aaron Stanfield in the final round. And then that motor let go and had all that smoke come in the cockpit, and it was very dramatic and everything like that. So great redemption for Erica. But isn't it kind of ironic and kind of a coincidence? At the beginning of the weekend, she talked about getting off social media, because it's kind of getting on her nerves and everybody's talking about her struggles. And what does she do? Comes out, qualifies number 1, and goes out and wins the race. I feel like the champ is back. She's done messing around. The champ is back. I would say that.
The girl, people need to stop giving her motivation. If you don't want to see her do well, don't give her motivation, which they have plenty enough motivation in and of themselves to go out there and perform. She wants to win. She wants to win in pro stock and win more championships, certainly. And it was only a matter of time. If anyone was out there and had the thoughts of, oh, they're done, like done, no. It was only a matter of time. Funny car. Ron Capps.
Erica was just letting the field get a head start. That's it. She was letting the field
Right. Hey, again, so what if she rolls in 15th or wherever it was, Bristol? Make the countdown. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Get in there. Oh, Side note, though. Derek Kramer. Dang.
4 straight finals.
Dang.
4 straight finals.
He made note, and I watched them test in Las Vegas, that they figured out the electrical issue. That test in Vegas was instrumental, that they found something, and they found something to go 4 final rounds straight. That is impressive.
Michael Heinert, the crew chief, like you said, has definitely found something. 4 straight final rounds. And I asked this to Dave W. and Dujane Bland on Inside the NHA. I said, is Derek Kramer the most surprising story in pro stock this year? And they said, maybe not the most surprising, but for sure the most improved. And it's great to see right now, because in pro stock, we always talk about Greg and Erica, KB versus Elite. Well, it's nice to see it's Dallas Glenn, it's Matt Hartford, it's Derek Kramer, the top dogs in pro stock right now. You could throw in Cameron Caruso and Greg and Erica right there. But right now, Dallas Glenn, Matt Hartford, Derek Kramer. I mean, they're running the show right now in pro stock, and I like it. Some different names. I dig it.
It is cool. It is cool to see that. Funny car. Ron Capps gets it done. And even though Ron Capps wins the race, I still can't help but think somewhat stealing the show are the likes of Bobby Bodie and Chad Green.
Yeah.
Bobby Bodie with his pedal win over Bob Tasca, and then comes out round 2 and strikes the wall. I don't think the car was hurt all that bad. Funny cars, They fold the headers up, have some body damage, they're ready to go on. But Chad Green, again, showing consistency and ability, and they get it done over Dad with Daniel and Tim. Look, very cool.
Well, here's the thing. So going back to Bobby Bodie, right? So like you mentioned, so we got to preface by saying Bob Tasca won the New England Nationals, basically his hometown race on Saturday at Bristol. You'd think he'll come into Sunday with some momentum, and he goes out first round because Bobby Bodie beats him in a pedal fest. And like you said, he hits the wall in the second round. And then Alexis DeJoria, who went to the final round in Bristol, she hurts the motor in round number 2, and then in the semis has the roof hatch fly off. So just a crazy
that
overall
thing
day.
Flew.
Did it?
It looked like a beach ball just up in the air, suspended. That was wild.
It was. And then what a great final round between Capps and DeJoria. You talk about side-by-side funny cars straight down to the finish line. If Alexis was just a little bit better reaction time, she probably could have got him. But what a great funny car final when Ron Capps, the champ, is back, first one of the year. And right now, like we talked about Justin being the favorite in top field, I believe, although it's Cap's first one of the year, I feel like he's been the most consistent car this year. Even though he did go out round 1 in New England, he has the most consistent car right now. I believe he's the championship favorite in Nitro Funny Car. Matt Hagan, we got to put an APB out for him because I don't know where he's been. We got to search for Matt Hagan. I'm totally joking. They'll be fine.
Oh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
I'm totally just joking.
We had Dickie on the show about this time last year, and he was clear that, well, we're kind of going to go into testing mode. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see what we got and get things figured out and get ready for the countdown. I see it more, I think, than I ever have with the point structure, the way it is. You just got to get to the countdown.
Yeah, it's all about the countdown. And like I said, I'm literally just joking. Matt Hagan and that whole TSR team, they'll be fine. He will be a championship contender once the countdown comes, and will be one of the championship favorites. Matt Hagan, that's a bad dude right there.
For sure, for sure. So in the green room, we've got Mr. Davies. We've also got Mopar Madi. We'll be talking with them in just a few moments after our first break here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. They will be our first guests of the evening. Darren, look, it was my first ever visit to Bristol Dragway, only 3 hours away from me. Me and Dad never went. I don't know why, but it needs to be on everybody's must attend and experience list. So I want to ask you right now, out of the tracks you've been to, your top 5 tracks that you have got to experience. And I think this list is going to be interesting. And you all put in the comment section your list, because you and I, still have not experienced Bandamere. So we know that it needs to be at the top, but we can't do it at the top because we haven't been to the top of the mountain there at Bandamere Speedway. So your top 5.
So top 5 tracks that I've been to.
Yes.
Well, this list will pale in comparison to you because you've been to way more tracks than me. I've only been to national event level tracks. So first, top 5 tracks that I've been to. First, obviously, In-N-Out Burger Pomona drag strip. I mean, that's my home track. I got to go up Pomona. Sonoma, that is a beautiful track. You talk about the sunsets there. It's beautiful at nighttime, and big time runs there at nighttime. So Sonoma is up there also. Bakersfield, a nice little track out in the middle of nowhere in North Central California. I got to go to Bakersfield for Moso drag strip. I love that place. My all-time favorite, though, and it's more so for the history, is the Texas Motorplex. Me personally, I like the Blue Tower from back in the day more than the White Tower now, but the Texas Motorplex, a great facility. I love when I got to see that big giant tower on the starting line, so got to go with the Texas Motorplex. The number 5, what other racetracks have I been to? That's a good question. I've been to Indy. Indy is, I mean, obviously the biggest drag race in the world. Indy doesn't stick out to me as like you have to go to the race, of course, but it doesn't stick out as like a track that looks amazing or anything like that. So Famoso, Sonoma, Pomona, Texas. Oh, Charlotte, the Bellagio drag strips. You got to go to Charlotte. That is an amazing looking facility. So that's my top 5 right there.
All right. That's a good top 5. I should have thrown in that, keep it to national events. But I do like national event hosting tracks. But I do like that you threw in some other tracks, because you throw in non-national event hosting tracks, the list can get quite interesting, especially as you kind of mentioned. I have been to more races than you, just saying.
Okay,
Drag Racing Central.
Okay.
Mentioned Cecil County. That's out there in Maryland. Maple Grove Raceway there in Pennsylvania. Englishtown in New Jersey, which is now sadly a drifting pad. And Atco Dragway there in New Jersey as well. What's number 5, DRC? You got a 5th one? You got a 5th one there, man? I only see 4.
Okay, if we're only going national event, I'm going to take out Bakersfield because it's not technically a national event track. I'm going to put in Houston, Texas, Baytown. I love that track too.
Right, and sadly gone. We got the last one in, and it was good to get that one in. And, for me, obviously, I would have said Atlanta Dragway as well on that, but it is now long gone. I would say currently, for me, the top 5 that you've got to attend in the 5th spot, I'm going to say Eddyville Raceway Park. 8th Mile track. Yes, it's in flyover country in Iowa, but I think you have got to go to Eddyville Raceway Park.
You said national event only. What's up with this?
But you didn't. So I got to go off what you put out there.
I totally forgot Vegas, but you can keep going. Sorry.
So I've got to do now a list that isn't, because you went that route.
Everybody in the chat, watch this subtle brag of all the racetracks he's been to. Just go. Watch this subtle brag. Just watch him show off.
Eddyville Raceway Park, there in Iowa and flyover country. You've got to experience that. Gerald and Kyle and the whole crew there, what a phenomenal facility they've got. It is the Midwest's finest 8th Mile drag strip. I firmly believe that. You've got to experience it. And, rolling into some national event level tracks, I would say that, look, I'm going to put Z-Max at number 4. I know that may be like, what are you thinking? Spectacular facility. Yes, Bellagio of drag strips, and it is nice. But I think for tracks to visit, it's beyond just that it's nice or impressive. And it has certainly that Bellagio status, but it has that commercialized feel to it. And I like going to places that have down to earth, homey feel, if you will, that are still nice. So I'm going to put Z-Max there, and third of the tracks that I've been to. Man, this list is harder than I thought it was going to be. Third, I would say at the moment. Darren, let's see. Help me out here. What could we throw out there?
It's so hard because I've been to so many. You guys,
I've been to so many. But you know what? I'll have to go with Bakersfield as well. I was impressed. I had heard for years Bakersfield is a dump, and then I get there and I'm like, this place isn't bad. It's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. And I love the Grove at Bakersfield, honoring people in drag racing, names known and not known, and you can rest under the shade of Don Garlett's tree, like quite literally, and things of that nature, and all the history that is there. So you got to visit Bakersfield. Number 2, right now, I would say of what you have got to experience, what you've got to see, I like what Don has said, Norwalk. Norwalk is a great facility, great people that are there, and a great setting. Number 1 right now is going to be Bristol, actually. That special of a place. Just, yes, the sound. It does reverberate down the valley. Tight pits, but yet they're laid out functionally. And you got an area down the hill where pits are here, and another area down the hill where pits are here. You got to cross over this creek to get to the track itself. The tower is... Yes, it looks like it's shaped just like any other tower, but it's different inside, and
it's red,
very well laid out, and just the angle of the stands. Yes, you've got to visit Bristol. The setting does make it, right now at least, I'd say the most important track for you to visit. Again, we're saying this, and we have not been to Bandamere, and we know that that's probably the top of everyone's list. And you're going to get Bandamere in this year for sure. I've got to get it in some way, somehow, even if it's just paying a visit, even if cars are not on the track. So there it is. There's the list.
Lee, I love me a good tower. Like, towers just blow me away for some reason. I'm very fascinated with NHRA towers and national event tracks, and Bristol is probably the first on my list. I want to see that in person. Like, I was blown away when I got to see the Texas Motorplex Tower in person. Also Houston as well, but I want to see Bandamere and Bristol's tower in person. I love me a good tower. So
the tower at Bristol gives a weird sensation of like you're like leaning over the track.
I saw that. Kelly Wade posted a picture and it seemed that way.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's an impressive tower. Tower. Nice media center in it and press area. Everybody talks about Z-Max, and that is the Bellagio. I don't know what you would say is right under the Bellagio, maybe Caesars. I don't know. I'm not sure. But Bristol is right behind it in facility.
It's a Brunsmith racetrack, so all Brunsmith racetracks are nice. Like Vegas, Sonoma, Bristol, Charlotte, they're always going to be nice. So they do it top notch. And I remember when I went to Charlotte last year, you talk about the media center is super nice. They give you food. I mean, they give you food everywhere, but it's catering actually. And they just do it top notch.
Food was on point, catered at Bristol. I mean, we had fajitas one day.
Oh, fajitas. Okay.
Yes,
I like it. If going back on top racetracks you got to go to, as long as it has a Cracker Barrel next to the racetrack, I'm good with it. Just give me a Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Chicken fried steak.
Well, man, we need to take a break. We need to get our guests on and chat with them.
Real quick. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in tonight to the Competition Plus Power Hour. I forgot what episode this is. I know everybody might be 132. I know there's another show called Shake and Bake with Ron Cap. So I appreciate you guys all staying here tonight and hanging out with us, because we got three great guests for tonight. So it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait.
We do. Our first two are up next. We want to say thank you to Weldon High Performance. They pump the show, quite literally. Mr. Davies, Mopar, Madi, welcome to the Competition Plus Power Hour. Good to have both of you on. Hey, David, I gotta ask, how did you do? I didn't see. What was Bristol like for you?
Here's how I did.
Okay, well, there you go.
We there you go, Maddie. Good job. We struggled in Chicago. We were down on power. We fixed that problem, and we got bounced in round one. I think we just got unlucky, right? The car launched. It made a almost full rotation and a half on the tires, and then it slipped. And there's nothing you can do. I chopped it and tried to go after it again, and Bell, who I was racing, had a clean hit, and he was already halfway down the racetrack. So we thankfully solved our problems that we had in Chicago. So that's a good thing. And it's going to be a quick 2-week turn here. We're heading into Norwalk, which is kind of home court for me. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to have an absolute ton of fans and sponsors. It's going to be pretty much a full house there at Norwalk. So we're going to go out and do a little testing here next week and make sure we got our act together and we're ready to go.
Well, first off, David and Madi, hi, it's my first time meeting you guys. So great to have you guys here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. And I saw you making some hand gestures when me and Lee were talking about, the best tracks on the tour. So I just want to get your guys' opinions. Starting with you, Madi, what's your top 5 favorite tracks on the tour, or any track you've ever been to?
I've only been to 2. I've been to Bristol and Z-Max, and they're probably my top 2 so far.
Both great tracks. I like it.
If you're going to get some in, those are some good ones.
Really?
Sure.
That's absolutely a good start.
What about you, David?
Well, I would I'll give you 5, maybe not in any particular order, but they got to be Vegas, Bristol, Norwalk, Charlotte, and I'm going to go Maple Grove just because I Maple Grove is always a good time out there. It's a very unique track. You got to make sure you give yourself an extra 2 hours to get in there in the morning because it's single lane roads getting in and out, and it's a very I was very happy we put on the schedule last year, and I'm very happy we kept it there this year. So I'm looking forward to going back out to Reading.
Yeah, there is no sneaking in to Maple Grove Raceway other than just get there early.
Yeah, you got to get there early. I was late getting in there last year. I didn't think I was. I had an hour to go and got stuck in traffic, and the guys had to come get me on the go-kart to zip me in so I could make a pass. I mean, we were stuck in traffic, and they had to send a rescue mission out onto the road to get me.
Save the competitors. Save the competitors. Speaking of competitors, Mr. Davies, next to you, Mopar Madi, part of your driver development program. Why this young lady in particular?
Well, we met Maddie in Bowling Green at Mo Party a couple years ago, actually, and been talking to her and her family back and forth and learned her story a little bit. And a development program was always something that I wanted to try to put together at some level or another. And we're gonna do a couple more, a couple more as well. But what I learned and what I started to feel like was we just got the industry, the sport itself has got to push down. We've got to remember where we came from. Everybody started somewhere. Everybody needs help at some point in time. And I don't just mean help to be able to get to the racetrack and help to be able to race, but to help to be able to figure it out. I was very happy that her and her family were able to go to Bristol. That's close to home for them. Because part of what we're trying to do is not just get her on the racetrack. But as you guys know, a national event is a whole nother bag of cats. And the logistics and the choreography and how you get a car in and out of the pits and through the staging lanes and through the ready line and up to the line is something you have to experience and do it a few times before you get real comfortable. So she can drive a car, sure, but you also have to get comfortable getting the car up to through the lane and out the back end and back to the pits and just get used to the choreography and the logistics of it all. So I was very glad we were able to get her there and have her start to absorb some of that. That's part of the process, right?
Certainly is. Glad you're able to get that started with Madi. Madi, overall, what did you think of Bristol Dragway Thunder Valley Nationals, and you got 2 for 1 because they also held the New England Nationals there. So it was Epping for a time. You can say you've been to Epping too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what David's done and where I could go and stand behind his car. That's one of my bucket lists, was to stand behind a factory stock car, and all, everything they got to do was just amazing. And Bristol and getting to see the Epping race was amazing, and everything was just absolutely spot on.
And so, Madi, I really got to dive deep into your story recently, and it's just an amazing story. So it's great to see you here and what you're doing right now. Just kind of talk to us about your introduction into drag racing and your journey to where you are now in this development program with David Davies.
Well, I was just trying to find something when I was sick. I was trying to find something to make me just forget about when I was sick in the hospital, and I tried just about every sport that I could possibly do, and drag racing just kind of, I guess you could say, called my name, and I started getting the drag racing. I started meeting David, and then it all just kind of collided together, and now we're here.
Now, David, you had an interesting, we'll simply say, honor bestowed upon you with what you're doing for factory stock, what you're doing with Madi. I don't think we talked about this the last time you were here. It came out afterwards, but you were named a part of the first ever movers, shakers, and deal makers list for the NHRA. That is a list that I think in time is going to be a very important list that people are certainly going to want to make, and you're part of the inaugural list in the NHRA. Congratulations, and I'm sure that has got to make you feel good as an individual that definitely is forward-sighted.
Yes,
that was a surprise. I was pleasantly surprised. Don't get me wrong. We've had such good luck sponsoring the class when Constant Aviation had it, and then when FlexJet took it over. Both companies are within our family of companies, so there was a little synergy there, and we know it works from a recruitment standpoint. We know it works from a vendor relations standpoint. We know it works especially from an employee standpoint, and we've had such good luck with it. It has worked so well that and the Factory Stock Classic that we sponsored for the first time this year with Drag Illustrated, and we're going to bring it back again next year, a little bit bigger and better. And then working through the build out of this team, which starts with obviously the factory stock car, and now we have our development program. We're going to bring Madi up through the ranks a little bit, and we're out there beating the bushes for some other cars and other classes as well. I was really thrilled to be on that list. I was honored to be part of that group. And when I look back on what we did to get there, I'm just pretty surprised on what we've been able to pull off in the last 2 or 3 years. So you're right. I look back on that, and I'm actually pretty honored and very happy to be part of that list.
And I love what you're doing right now with this driver development program. And I know the Maynard family and Skag are kind of doing something similar and everything like that. And I hate to compare drag racing to like NASCAR and stuff like that, but we think about driver development programs and feeder systems. Do you think this is a route that NHRA kind of has to go to bring up the next crop of racers? And do you think there'll be other teams and drivers and stuff like that kind of following suit to bring up these next generation of drivers?
I think we need to. I think it's important. There's a lot of drivers out there looking for rides, right? I mean, you can find, if you have a car and you need a driver, you can find a driver. But this is about more than driving the car. Mm-hmm. All right, this is a development program, like I told you, getting Madi used to the racetrack, how a national event moves, the ebbs and flows, the logistics of it, how to deal with the media, how to deal with the fans, what you can do, what you can't do, back and forth from the pits. It's more than just sending the car down the racetrack. If you want to be really good at it, you have to be able to do more than just sending the car down the racetrack. Madi can send the car down the racetrack. We've been working with her dad and her on her car that she's running, a lot of 8th mile stuff this year. We just they're just installing a new cam and some new parts to get a little more pop through the end of the year. Next year we'll give her a little more pop. We'll get her in some 1/4 mile stuff. But it's about the bubble of experience, right? I didn't have all this experience, and I had nobody to show me what to do. I shadowed and watched what Leah and Mark were doing the first couple of years. That was immensely helpful, and that's what started me thinking that we have to give people the ability to put a good foundation under them. We all have to push down a little bit. We have to remember that we're very fortunate to be able to do this, and if we can help the next generation come up and help the people that are trying to get themselves up, it's going to be good for everybody.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And it's not just even on the driver development side. I would say, myself and Darren, we have an obligation, I think, even though I haven't been in this extremely long, but if someone comes into the media room and they need help them out. It is different to be in a media room at a national event than at your local event or many other drag racing events that are out there. So yes, work down, everybody help lift each other up. I like that. And Madi, it's cool that you're getting that opportunity with David here and DH Davies Racing. What is the end goal, though, for you? Where do you want to see your career go and develop into?
Probably that I would love to go to factory stock and race my way up there. I would love to go. That's the goal I was hoping to go to.
Why factory stock?
Factory is just a different kind of car. It's not a top floor. It ain't a funny car. It's just something totally different. Something that, you can recognize it. Like you can go out to a dealership and right there it is. And then kind of like I did my car, I went out to a dealership and got my Challenger and raced it for a little bit. And then now it's a drag car. And so I think that's even better about what these factory cars are, is just something different, something new. And even when I met Dave, that car drew me to go meet David, and I think it draws a lot of other people to come see the cars.
You could tell just from that answer the passion for factory stock right there, and so I love that right there. But also Mopar Madi, I like the name. Where did your love for Mopars kind of come?
Well, our whole entire family is just diehard Mopar, and I just kind of grew up with them. And just Mopar, no car. I guess that's what I can say.
Mopar, no car. I like it, Lee.
Mopar, no car.
Mopar, no car.
Yep. I got to disagree. I'm sorry, Madi. Well, Madi, Dave, it's been good to see you both here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Any last words, Mr. Davies, on what is happening in FlexJack factory stock for your program and the development program?
Let's see. We're about halfway through the season in the factory stock. We dropped a little bit in the ranks. Went from 3rd to 6th with our Bristol and Chicago showing. We're going to fight our way back up into the points. It's been a great season. We've spread a lot of the class itself has spread a lot of wins around. It's been a very aggressive but a very, very interesting year this year with the class and the new team that we're putting out there. We're excited to get Maddie's car back out of the garage and on the racetrack here coming up as well. I know that they're wrenching on it. They're probably even doing it right now as we're talking, if they're not watching the feed. And we're looking forward to getting through the end of the season here. We're going to end the season in Vegas, and the way things are clipping along right now, we expect to have some additional announcements to be able to kick out when we get into Vegas and into the end of season for factory stock and leading into SEMA. So we'll have a little momentum going into next year. It looks like we're going to be quite busy if things go according to plan. So
I like that plan. Madi, where can people follow your journey?
On YouTube at Mopar Madi, Facebook and Instagram.
All Mopar Madi.
Yes. But on Facebook, it's different. It's just Madi Turley now.
Okay, cool.
Or Madi Turley Racing. I've got 2 different pages.
All right, Madi Turley Racing, Mopar Madi on Instagram, and look for it on YouTube as well. Very cool. Everyone out there, you do that. Follow this young lady. Let's see what she develops into.
I'm gonna start using that Mopar no car. I like that. That's smooth right there. I dig it.
It's been around a while, Darren.
Well, that's the first time I've heard it.
Wow.
Wow.
I know.
On that, Thank you for joining us on the Power Hour. Guys, y'all have a good evening. We look forward to having you both on another time.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I probably should not have admitted that.
You should
live
not
on
have.
air. Live on air.
You
Probably
should
should have
not
done
have.
that.
The competitionplus.com YouTube comment section for this episode is going to be absolutely wild. And they're going to eviscerate you.
Oh, it's fine. You know what Ford stands for? You know what Ford stands for? Go for it. You know what Ford stands for? Since you love Ford, you know what it stands for?
Darren, there's a lot of things in which it could stand for. I believe that it's first on race day.
Oh, is it? I heard it was something else. So just saying.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it live on air, but is there a weekly top alcohol dragster update and a certain driver that I would like? Just asking. Is there a certain update?
Matt Cummings won up there at Lebanon Dragway in New York for a North region Division 1 meet. And it was also Mr. Tiggs and Funny Car. He got the win over Matt Gill, which Matt Gill continues to move up in the points. If I remember correctly, looking, it's Sean Bellamere number 1, Matt Gill is number 2, and number 3 is Bob McCosh. So even though Bob McCosh went and won there at the Texas Motorplex, he has slipped third now. We are going to have a dogfight in Norwalk in Top Alcohol Funny Car for sure. And then, yes, in Top Alcohol Dragster, Norwalk is going to be slated with the top names. Yes, including such as Julie Natus. Where although waiting, will Tony Stewart enter? Have not seen that on the entry list yet. Will he make a return to the cockpit in a McPhillips racing ride along with Coughlin and Jasmine Salinas there for the national event at Norwalk Summit Motorsports Park? Was that what you were asking for there, Darren?
That was what I was asking for. Yeah, of course. Definitely.
I'm glad that's what you were asking for.
Definitely. Hey, I want to get your opinion on something. So, and everybody in the live chat too. So obviously Norwalk, America's racetrack. The best place to put Norwalk, I believe, is 4th of July weekend, somewhere around there. But if it's not 4th of July weekend, since we already got Pro Mod and NHRA, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, a lot of these IHRA classes, Mountain Motor Pro Stock, what if we put Norwalk, the event right before the U.S. Nationals, like it was back in the day, called the World Nationals?
Ooh.
So remember all the guys. I know it would never happen, but
that would never fly. It would never fly.
All the guys will go to Norwalk the week before the U.S. Nationals, and they'll go to the U.S. Nationals the weekend right after that. So the World Nationals and then the U.S. Nationals back to that. It was doing like back in the day.
I know that will never fly. Look, me and Doug Foley, we were chatting because it's funny how Doug Foley and Clay Milliken somehow tend to match up regularly in NHRA competition. And even Clay Milliken knocked out Doug at Chicago. He was the first car to bump Doug out. It's just funny how these old IHRA rivals continue to meet up in NHRA competition, seemingly decades now after they were duking it out in the IHRA, and yet you never hear about it. I actually heard an NHRA announcer use IHRA in reference to something at the Thunder Valley Nationals. I about fell over. I was shocked.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? Well, you know how the announcers now, they always say on the I side. The I side. That's what they say when they reference the IHRA.
Right.
Like
hey,
that.
Shout out to Jason Galvin. That dude did not shy away with the Legends Nitro Funny Car series to mention with Chuck Lofton, who had a big Funny Car Chaos sticker on the front of that car, to play up the chaos at an NHRA national event. Thanks, Galvin.
Well, Alan Reinhart was saying no Prep Kings too on the PA. So you got no Prep
maybe
Kings and
the
Funny Car
NHRA
Chaos.
is starting to realize that if you're at the top, there's nothing wrong with embracing everyone else too. Realize and know where you're at and act like it.
Mm-hmm. No,
because those at the top aren't scared about those at the bottom.
I definitely agree with that. Hey, breaking news, everybody. Breaking news. Special guest.
In the green room.
Special guest in the green room.
In the green room right now.
16-time Funny Car World Champion, John Force, is next on the Competition Plus Power Hour.
He is next right after this break. And it's only fitting that we play Peak right now.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it Peak. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant, our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.
John!
Oh my goodness, breaking news. How about this?
The Force himself. Oh, we're having some camera issues, apparently.
I just want to tell everybody, there's a Planner's Penis, 50th anniversary, 100, John Force, well, over there, 16 time, and Austin Coyle's over there. Robert Hyde's really running good ahead, boy, that's Justin and kids. Hey, how y'all doing?
That was pretty accurate, Darren.
It was. That was awesome. Sounded just like John Force.
Look, congratulations on a big win. Everybody was wondering when Gage Herrera would be stopped. He stopped himself, but you put yourself there in the other lane through hard work to pick up that Wally. I've got to ask, though, at this point, what are the Wallies saying to you at the top end after a win? What is that conversation?
They're like, man, you snuck another one away from them, huh? They're I got my safety goggles on. I am. So, they're just, you always need a friend. I haven't been able, I love a Labrador Retriever and a Golden Lab, and I just can't get another dog. So, but their friendship's awesome. So I just have to hang out with Wally, and when I want him to say something, he says something, and when I want him to just support me, he just says, "Okay, we're all good, man."
And I'll tell you what, Pro Stock Motorcycle has been putting on a show, I mean, for the past couple of years, and it does not get enough credit for what it does. And Steve, we talked about you, the Wally's talking to you, but one thing I love that you do in the winner's circle also is after you win, you're going to sit next to the bike right after that. I see you doing it a couple of times now since you've won. Just talk about that. And also, you're not afraid to stir the pot either, because after every win, you're bringing up the hobby racer deal. I like it. You know what you're doing. I dig it.
Well, it's I wish it's not real popular to say in a big setting like this, but the business that goes on in our sport away from the crowds and away from the spotlight and the TV is just, it's so important. It's important for the longevity. It's important for the teams, and it's actually important for the sanction body, because when the teams are successful financially, the sanction body has a lot of load removed from them. And, this is all an opinion, obviously, but these are the kinds of things that you learn from Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt. They had, the feud and the rivalry and stuff like that, but they really killed it with all their apparel and their fan bases. And that helped move other rivalries along. But financially, they became that revenue stream from just that part of their quote unquote racing, I guess, was substantial, to say at least. And I wish that our group, the motorcycle group, I feel like is as tight a group as any class out there. And I wish that we could drop our guards just a little bit, get in a room and discuss how to not make up stuff, but really understand how to drive the brand of the motorcycles, because I think the racing's awesome, but I think the fans really like to know and gravitate towards the personalities of the racer. And because they can see us on the bike, we're a lot more visual to them. I think ultimately with the right promotion, the right social media, we could be as popular as anything else out there.
I think that's a good point. Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, they used to talk about going and selling T-shirts and then leaning on each other out there on the racetrack. And hey, that would sell a few T-shirts. Good business to put it out there on the track. Why not?
Yeah, and they weren't scared. They did whatever it took. But that was racing. When it left that, I believe, again, my opinion is it left that, and then it's like, hey man, did your order of action diecast come in last week? How many? I'd see Dale sign. He'd just go in this room, and it just had car after car after car after car, and he would just sign those cars. And he had a philosophy about that sometimes, and that he would share with me. I was fortunate to do some autograph parties with him with Snap-on, and he schooled me on diecast. He schooled me, for that short amount of time, but he schooled me on a lot of that stuff, and I learned from a really savvy guy, and so ultimately I'd like to share that. So the hobbyist thing, Darren. I love that you get that. I kind of laugh when I say it, but it's still a valid point. It would create a ton of topics. Who's a hobbyist racer? Roger Penske doesn't build his own engines, so he must be a hobbyist racer, right?
Well, you got a point there, don't you? John
He
Force?
does.
But I get what Matt was saying. He just Matt's a hardcore racer, man. That's just the end of the day deal, and that's what our sport needs. And he seems to be quite successful financially, and lots of sponsors, and Angie just does a great job with him, and now the scrapper team's with them. So I mean, if you have a number one on your plate and you're broke and you're hanging out at McDonald's hoping to get the $20 an hour job on the weekends that you're not racing, that doesn't say a lot for the brand of our category. So he has to be financially good because it helps drive the brand, and we all know Vance and Hines is doing good, and really right now our class has never been as financially sound as I believe it is right now. The Ryan's got a great sponsor, and he has lots of infrastructure with his racing team, Ryan Naylor and Joey Gladstone and Corey that Reed Motorsports, and now they're tied in with the Summit team and all of that. So the Jim Whiteley is he's got a couple of bucks, and so you just go down the list. Kelly Klontz has a fantastic sponsor, and she does a great job with promoting the whole union and growing the infrastructure of skilled trades. So these are all things that resonate with our fans, I think, and the more that we can push each one of the agendas, the better off they are. But right now, the financial stability in our class I don't think it's ever been as good as it is now.
Well, awesome. Speaking of financial stability, you must have some stability somewhere, some support somewhere. You were able to get a new body on that motorcycle. It's gonna be like your first new body in 20 years or something, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't know that you were looking. I was like, I knew Darren would be on my back. That's my dog right there, man. That's my dog. So yeah, that's so okay. Here's the quiz for you guys. So how much does a body cost?
I have no idea.
Come on. It's $25,000 for the brand new Gen 3 software designed infrastructure from software, Vance and Hines, Hayabusa Gen 3 Suzuki bodywork. It's carbon fiber. It's absolutely the coolest, nicest stuff on the planet. Gosh darn it! I went to go meet the guy Craig that I'm gonna give him a shout out because the guy is so engaged in carbon fiber. He'll make a big piece and he will cut it out of a way bigger piece of carbon fiber just so the mat lays perfect and it looks beautiful to the retail, to the customer. So it's just the guy that I saw the molds, I saw a shop. It's just top-notch stuff, but because they don't sell a lot of them, it's $25,000 for the carbon fiber. Here's the fender. You buy brackets and you and poke a couple of holes in here that are already scribed, and it bolts right on your motorcycle. For a pro stock motorcycle, for anything that's racing at this kind of level, it's just an incredible piece. It's just, I don't know what just the fender costs, but it's absolutely beautiful. I hope you can see that. There's the MSD that nobody uses MSD, right? Yeah, well, I do, but okay. So here's it's leading edge, and they're in Indianapolis. So Craig is the owner of the company, and it's just a phenomenal piece. It's $25,000, so it's about $7,500, up to $7,500 to mount it. So now you're in at $32,500, and depending on Antron and I were talking today about wrapping a bike, and it's probably around $3,000 to wrap a motorcycle. So it's a $35,000 venture. Now, you didn't get the answer correct, but the subsection of this thread is, you're right. I got somebody to pay for it. I got 3 people to pay for it. Suzuki paid for a small portion. My buddy Tony Toll, that's on my bike, he paid a third. And a guy in comp, John Edwards, Little Bullet Racing, he did it. And those guys called me up. I didn't solicit to them. I told Suzuki there was no way in heck we were going to be able to buy it. And they said, well, here's the offer. This is what we can do. And I was, it's pretty nice for the factory to say, here's a little bit of money. But there was so much promotion and so much stuff going on the internet that these other guys saw it, and they said, hey, are you going to get that? It looks really cool, blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, the check shows up. So it's like, I'm like, wow, free money, man.
Well, it's not a bad week. Sorry.
He likes the free money.
I do. Yeah. No, everybody loves free money. But obviously, not a bad weekend at all. We could bring out a new body and get a win right off the bat right there. And just going back on the win this past weekend, I mean, you beat some great competition, Joey Gladstone, Eddie Krawick, Hector Rauner Jr. But going into that final round, knowing that you're at quite a performance disadvantage, is the goal to kind of just go out there and just do your job and try and just hope that the other guy in the other lane makes a mistake? Or what's kind of like the plan going into the final round like that, knowing you're at such a disadvantage?
Well, I believe that the goal should have been at the start of the weekend is to make the pass and then progress all the way through the weekend. And if you happen to make it through the final, your fastest pass should be, depending on atmosphere, obviously, should be in the finals. And I got cold feet. I really struggled. We had a new wheelie bar on our bike also. Mike Mullaney at CycleWorks, Mullaney CycleWorks in Indian, just outside of Indianapolis. He's got a beautiful shop and some great. His son's name's Lincoln, So I'm a Lincoln Electric guy, but his daughter is Riley, and she's 4, and I think she's gonna be 14 next week, and then she's gonna be 24 the week after, and she'll be on a motorcycle. So it's but the whole deal is we got a brand new bike, and the weights changed around and everything. And the bike was the rear end was kind of going to the right really hard, and it was pushing the bike to the left. And so there's a picture on the internet that's just the most embarrassing picture in the world. It looks like it's my first time riding the bike. It's like, but it was hard. It was hard to ride the darn thing. It was out of control. So I made some crazy mistakes that I won't ever admit to, but the team knows about it. But we fixed all that, and then the bike started going straight. So I got behind the 8-ball a little bit, and then I got scared. I didn't want to change a few things, and so I kind of stuck in the 680, 688, 687, 689, and when Gage went a 684, we went a 689. I just figured that, you know, I don't know what was happening, but there was 500s there. So, you know, the goal, to answer your question, was to go back and we had a meeting. We talked about it. Chris Dalton, a buddy of mine, and got a cool machine shop, makes me a ton of stuff, and my buddy Jock, obviously you guys know Jock, and Tommy and his son, we're all hanging out. So we have a meeting. What do you want to do? We tried this, and so I said, let's just throw the kitchen sink at it. Let's just do let's throw the kitchen sink in it. And so I went in, and they said, oh, what does that mean? And I said, well, hold on, let me get it. So I went in, and then I came back out, and I said, we don't have a kitchen sink. So it's like, dang, we'll have to revert back to just some plain old timing and jetting and gearing and good old fashioned good riding, I guess. So that was our plan.
Well, as Hannibal Smith would say, he loves it when a plan comes together, and the plan came together. You got the win there at Thunder Valley Nationals, Bristol Dragway. I'm curious, the bikes haven't been going there very long as a national event venue. Certainly the first time you all ever went, there was a lot of chatter about getting over the bumps and getting through it and even safely competing there. Has the class got a handle on it overall now? And is it something that seems like it's just another track on the schedule?
No, I think look, anytime you can go to a Bruton Smith track is a blessing. You know, that the staff, the facility, the track, even with, you know, with what people want to talk about, the idiosyncrasies of the track, you know, it's still an incredible facility, and the fans see it. You know, the bathrooms there are awesome. You know, I think I went to get to the funnel cakes about 12 times that weekend. They were so good. They're just, the funnel cakes are just healthier at a Bruton Smith track, you know. So they were laced with broccoli, I think. But no, it's so breathtaking, that track, and the place for the motorhomes is really cool. They've got shade for some of the grandstands, and it was a nice weekend. So I'm lucky that I was around when they ran the funny cars against the dragsters and put, I think, 3/10 on the tree. And that was we didn't run there for points. We just ran there, I think, for an exhibition, I believe. And that was a long time ago. And Force won that deal, and it was fun. So, you know, to go back there and to race for points, and win. You know, when we were thinking we were gonna have a good chance of winning the championship in 2021, we went over there and we blew the tire off. It was freezing cold, and we just really were bad. And then last year we kind of sucked again. So this year, I let the clutch out. Let me tell you something. You get into any kind of car and you drive it every single day, and so then you get in a new vehicle, and I would think, you know, sometimes we used to be crazy. You'd get in a hot rent-a-car, and you'd floor it right out of the parking lot and do whatever. But at some point, there's going to be a little respect. If you own the car yourself, you wouldn't get out and just floor it. If you were a Camaro guy all your life, and then all of a sudden you got in a Toyota or some other brand, and it was yours, and blah, you wouldn't floor it. I don't think you'd floor it and go sideways around the turns like you've been driving it all your life. You'd give it a little bit of respect. To go 190 miles an hour on that motorcycle and not know what that bodywork was going to do, like, I asked about 3 people, should I just hold it on till like half track and shut off? It was pretty exciting. I appreciate Mike Mullaney putting it on there straight and having all the mounts on there good. But in 4th gear, it was probably going 160 miles an hour, and 5th gear is probably going 80, and 6th it was going, 195, and I was thinking to myself, just waiting for something to happen so I could shut it off, and it never happened. And it was it's a very, very unique ride to ride that after riding what I did for all those years.
Mr. Force, you mentioned Bristol back in 1999. How cool was it to win that race, in the final round against Bob Vandergriff, smoking the tires on and off the throttle, getting the win on down track under the lights at Thunder Valley. How cool of a win was that to defeat the dragsters at Bristol Dragway back in the day, Mr. Force? How cool of a win
I'll
was
tell
that?
you, the only thing that happened that I can remember is we had that thing filled up with that GTX oil, man, that castor oil. I'll tell you, Austin Coyle pulled all the right strings and everything was going on. But I'll tell you, my Chevrolet was really on the key, and the crew was just, Gibson and Johnson and Florson and Princeton and Caution and Ablation. They all did great. All did great. And we beat those dragsters. I'm telling you. And I'm just telling you because I'm feeling hard. This national sanction body is one of the best I have ever seen in my entire. I'm grateful. I'm proud to be part of this NHRA drag racing, Winston drag racing. It's probably the greatest sport on the entire planet.
Mr. Forrest, you were in a Ford at the time, not a Chevy.
That is according to your opinion.
Oh man! Oh wow!
I got a voice message and a text from Coyle, and he says, I could not possibly tell you exactly what it said, but I can allude to the scenario is when sponsors might not want to listen to you, they will listen. He encourages me to get on the phone, and this week would be very valuable because they might listen to you because you've got the blue hat and you won the race. So normally your procedure for getting sponsorship might change slightly now because you've got the Wally in your hand, and it's he gave a very colorful way of describing some of the actions that you can use to engage people.
Cole's got a lot of wisdom.
So I'm driving. Let me tell you, we were about 12 days. The truck went to Chicago, and the guy calls me and says, "Hey, my buddy Eric calls me and says there's metal noise." And so the metal noise turned to louder metal noise, and I'm like, "What? I don't know what to do." I'm in the air. I'm like, "Just keep driving it." Well, it got worse and worse and worse. And then at 3 a.m, he left at 7 p.m. for a 10-hour drive. So at 3 a.m, he's in a ditch somewhere. So that was really kind of a bummer. So he got towed out of the ditch, and then he was within about 4 miles of the racetrack, and it barely would move. The front tire was, the left tire was here. The right tire was like hung way out like that. So we barely got it in and parked and had it towed out of there to get repaired. And we stunk up. We lost first round, but then we had somebody tow it. A buddy towed it to Indianapolis. Towed our trailer to Indianapolis so Mike could start working on it according to the appointment. And then I had the people at High Performance Lubricants. They brought the truck down that was repaired down to Indianapolis, and it didn't get repaired right, so it was pulling to the right the whole way. So I made another appointment to fix the truck, and then we hooked up the truck, and then we went to the shop after all this stuff, and then we had to go get it wrapped. And then it's Friday morning, and I'm like, it's early Friday morning. And believe it or not, I had a 3.5-hour drive, and Coyle talked to me the whole time. He talked to me for 2 hours and 48 minutes on the phone to going over all these stories and all these scenarios and stuff, and it kept me awake, and I pulled into Bristol alive and ready to race.
Are there any stories you can share that's PG on this show from Coyle? Are there any PG stories you can share?
Oh my God, he talked about one time where he really, it's so cool. Now I'm like kind of geeked out and stuff, but it's so cool when he talks about the Chi-Town Hustler days, and what they would do to get money. And he was somewhat structured, And he's like, look, I'm not going to work on this car every single day, every single minute. And that's what I feel like I do. And he says Garlitz would like what I do, or he would like the people that work on the car or the motorcycle. Well, work on the car, drive the car, get the money, do all that stuff. He says Garlitz really appreciated that. I don't know if that's the right thing to appreciate. Well, you can always appreciate it, but I don't think it's the right business structure in today's world. But Coyle would talk about those days and what they would do, and Frank Hawley, and told Frank if he drove it over his head, the roll bar wouldn't hold. And he said, well, what do you mean it wouldn't hold? And he says, if you drive this car over your head and it flips over, it's not going to protect you. This roll bar has been cut off and we soldered it back on. so he says Frank never really knew if that was true or not. But yeah, Coyle told me they got held up one time working on the car. A guy come in and robbed them, and just anything that you could think of that would just be ghetto stuff in Chicago, downtown Chicago. It happened to Coyle, man. The car wouldn't run, or it would break, and they would try new stuff. I mean, it's just anything and everything that you could imagine that man had been through, and including getting ready to quit. It's like then Force came along.
Hey, Steve, have you ever heard of Broadway Freddie the Name?
No.
The funny car driver? So
No.
There's a story of him. He was a funny car driver in the past that was in the mob, and I believe he robbed Don Schumacher of his Duster back in the day.
Wow.
Brian Lones did a pretty good story on that on his podcast. I believe his name is Broadway Freddie the Name. Old funny car racer from the 70s. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I know his brother Park Place. That's just the first thing that came to mind when I heard Broadway. I don't think of Willie Joe. I think of Monopoly. But anyway, but that's that's.
Do you play Monopoly, Darren?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So you know who? Bob Brent called me. I know you guys. Don Perdome's 17-year crew chief, and he's from Southern California. Dale Poldy, Southern California. Obviously Perdome and stuff like that. And Dixon's coming back from Monaco. He should be back in his house after these few weeks. But and I got to stay there at the Dixon Palace and watch the dog and hang out and with Duke, and but I got to hang out there, and I didn't have to pay 1 penny in rent, and I got to use his truck. Talk about pimp daddy, man. that's like how do you stay on the road? Well, you got to have good friends, man, and they gotta like you. So, but Bob Brent told me that a long time ago they took Goodyear paid for him and Perdome to come to the Ferrari factory and do a burnout in Snake's car. I'm like, how sick is that? I mean, what did that cost, right? So just when you think, you talk about old stories and stuff like that, I was like, wow, because Dixon went to Ferrari, but I don't think he did a burnout there. I mean, maybe tried to heat the tires up in his van or something like that, but I don't think he did. I don't think he did a smoky burnout with Goodyears on it in front of Enzo Ferrari.
That's up there.
That's a sick story, man. That's a sick story. It's a long time ago, but Coyle's got these stories about why this works and why this doesn't work, and when they're trying to figure out the metal, they hooked it. They would weld the metal together, and they'd get a forklift, and they'd hook a chain to it and try to pull it apart with a forklift, and what the stories about clutches and blower dynos and the sophistication of the instrumentation. That stuff just teaches me so much. Modulus of elasticity. How about those for 2 words from Steve Johnson bike guy? I'm like, wow, that's some badass wording right there, right? And that's sure. Basically how metal will move when under tension. So it's a lot of people think. I think a lot of people think that when you surface harden something, it changes that, and it I don't believe from what I'm understanding, I don't believe it does. So it's like aluminum's always going to be softer than titanium and steel, and that's just, no matter what the case hardening is, it's not going to change that modulus of elasticity. And that's an important thing when the fuel cars are, bending and doing all that crazy stuff. How about J.R. Todd? Commented on a Pro Stock motorcycle situation when Kelly Klontz almost got T-boned, and then everybody dogged him out. And I'm like, my gosh, a funny car driver is paying attention to Pro Stock motorcycles, and we're going to run him under the bus. I was so mad. I was like, I wanted to hug on him, I'm like, wow, thanks for saying something. I think he was just joking about telling everybody we needed parachutes on our motorcycles, but
right.
Gosh darn, we got.
But Steve, JR could probably use that hug, so go down there and give it to him.
Yeah, I'm telling you, proportionately, he went through hell for sure. Getting hit by force and
by you. It was you.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Me? Huh? What? Hey, you need a bigger side view mirror there, son. Get a side view mirror and you can move out of the way. So, but no, he went through, and then they took the car and then they rebuilt it and then they tested it and did all that stuff. I mean, I sure as heck didn't spend all that money, and I sure as heck didn't have all those people, and I didn't have that, but I still had my own drama for 2.5 weeks. And, to literally get there, sleep 3 hours and then get up and thrash on the bike and get it ready for first round. We all go through this stuff. That's what makes our sport so fun. And I wish the fans could see more of that behind the scenes stuff, but proportionately and money wise, for their amount of resources and my amount of resources, I just think we went through the same thing.
Steve, man, look, thank you for your time on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Always fun to have you.
Steve, is that a nickname? Is that a nickname you're giving me?
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Forrest. We were supposed to have another guest. So sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't see this, but go to Steve Johnson Racing and click on scholarships. If you've got somebody in high school, go to Steve Johnson Racing, and we have a scholarship, and it's $4,000 in tools. Peak gives $1,000 of it to any kind of tool you want, and it's just the easiest scholarship on the planet. So MacRack helps with us, Market Scan, all our sponsors, but the and Tony Tull and my buddy Chris at Superior, the Brady's. It's just it's really, really fun. So it's 5 simple questions. There's no essays. And when and if you win, we come to the school and we present you the tools at the school. So when we do our marketing your brand after the diploma presentation. So it's a lot of fun. We learned a lot because employers are engaging their students that are part-time with them to look at the scholarship. And again, it takes 15 minutes to fill out. So it's really, really simple. And it's a great way to get a lot of tools, all brand new and really, really cool, Snap-on branded. So that's my plug here at the end.
Oh, sorry, dude. That is cool. Thank you for plugging that. Thank you for dropping that. That is cool.
That's awesome.
And it's called Batman. And Batman or a woman. It's good for obviously women. And Batman stands for be a technician for a guy or a girl. So I'm hosing in on a really iconic logo. And I when I get thrown in jail, I didn't copy their stuff. I changed it. So I changed it a lot, but it's fun. And it's just something that the sanction body gives me a platform to be able to talk about. And as all of our professional racers are in our categories, as well as the sanction body, even the sportsman guys, the Lucas Oil guys, there's so many people that do so many things for everybody. And it's a wonderful way to give back. And doing that, and along with recognizing the military, it's a fun thing to do.
No, that is cool. That's cool.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, John, your last win on tour before this win this past weekend in Bristol was Charlotte 2022. You shared the winner circle with this guy named Steve Johnson that day as well. You got to get this man Steve Johnson back in the winner circle. It's been way too long.
And he bowed. He bowed in Charlotte. We were all standing there, and he was bowing to us. I got a picture, and I put it in my. I put it in my. Oh gosh, darn. I put it in here because it was so good. I cherish these things, man. I just cherish these pictures, you know. So let me see, Las Vegas. I don't have many of them, but there's one. Here's the 4 wide. Oh, well, that was the other 4. Where's the? Oh shoot, man, I don't have this 4 wide one there. But it's how about we won the 1,000th race and got the black Willis. Wally got the black Wally. So it's like, let's see. Gosh darn, I wonder where it is. Anyway, Force is bowing to us, and it's like, that's so cool.
Man.
Right.
Well, John, Steve, you're cool. Thank you for your time tonight, man. All
right, and y'all have a great day. Competition Plus, thank you so much. Look, they gave me the Brighter Image Mike Alello trophy. So no, that's the, gosh darn it, that's the other one. Shoot, but they did give me that. Bobby Bennett gave me that trophy for an inspiration. So keep the trophies close, man. They're here's my back-to-back ones. Say hi.
Hey, I was at both those races too. I think I brought you some luck.
I'm not going to bring that up right now. We're on air. Stop that stuff. Okay. Anyway. All right. You guys enjoy your day, and we will both Jock and I will see you later. And Jeff Perella, say hi to Sammy's if you're in Minnesota. Stop at Sammy's and have some incredible pizza. Do it in Elk River, Elk River, I think. That's the place to go. It comes from my recommendation. Go in there, just tell them Steve Johnson sent you, and I think everything will be free.
Okay, I like that.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Steve.
Hey, look, there's Willis. Wally. There's Wally right there. See, who keeps their trophies? Everybody has their trophy. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. Everybody has their trophies all together, right? There's one, right? And there's you already saw there's two there, and then they're just spread out. There's one in my Mike Wallace taught me to keep one in your bedroom where you see it all the time. Here's one, and there's another one. So then there's some in my shop.
Oh,
did we lose him?
I think we legitimately just lost Steve.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think he's gone. There he goes.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. He's back.
Oh, did I disappear?
Yes, you did.
There's one over there, and there's one there, and there's one. Jack Roush told me to put one in the conference room and bring a sponsor into the conference room, tell them a story about the trophy, and then shut up, and then they'll see if they'll give you money. And it worked. It actually worked pretty good.
Oh, well, Steve, we hope that you have many more Wallies spread out over the shop and the facility, and the new body works out and everything, and that you have a successful 2023. You're cool, dude. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. John Meyer says that there's the champion. So thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for having me on. Hopefully we get to go to Norwalk and kick butt. So thank you everybody. Bob Button is a big racer, and he's working on his top dragster. So good luck, Bob. And if you need a Suzuki, go to go to Big St. Charles in St. Louis, and they're a new sponsor. And next year's the 25th anniversary of a Hayabusa. Nobody's supposed to know that. I'm not supposed to talk about that, but I just did. So next year's Hayabusas are going to be bad to the bone. This is the 25th anniversary. So there it is, big St. Charles. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's backwards, I know. So it's a lot like my bank account. I'm like, hey man, there was a lot more money in there before. Anyway, all right.
Take care, Steve.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
And John Force in studio, always great to have the, I say, 17-time champion in the CompetitionPlus.com Power Hour studio. You're a huge fan. You are like John Force fanboy all the way. What did you just think about having the GOAT on?
Well, I just learned that a black Wally is actually called Willis. It's not Wally, it's Willis. So that's why. Did you catch that? I was like,
I caught that.
The first time I started busting out laughing, and then did it again. That was pretty funny. That was amazing. Yeah.
No, Steve Johnson. Wow, what a gift to drag racing overall, and especially pro stock motorcycle. And you never know. You never know. It is so good.
You never know.
Only Steve Johnson is coming on as John Force.
And we didn't have enough time. And you can go on my channel and check this out if you want to. But Steve Johnson at Pomona a couple years ago, he told us a great story because he mentioned Dale Earnhardt and how he taught him about diecast and stuff like that. Well, he also told us a great story of how Dale Earnhardt basically tried to steal his girlfriend out in Hawaii at a Snap-on event back in the day. So yeah, Dale Earnhardt tried to steal Steve Johnson's girl back in the day. It happened.
Why? I can see Dale doing that. Like totally.
I mean, Dale was smooth. He was smooth.
Right. That's right.
He wasn't actually trying to steal his girl, but he basically he got his girl away from Steve Johnson, basically.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Darren Manilook, I think another great episode of the Competition Plus Power Hour presented by Weldon High Performance. Always good to host the show right along with you. What's the plans for you this weekend? What's the next race you're going to be at? Me, it's already locked and loaded. Be leaving out in the morning for Illinois. In particular, going to Cordova, one of the most historic drag strips in the world, for the Summer Nationals, presenting Funny Car Chaos.
That'll be a great event. But for me, I won't be there, but this weekend I'll be covering and kind of, taking note and paying close attention to the NHRA Nostalgia Nationals from Bowling Green, Kentucky, formerly known as the Holly Hot Rod Reunion back in the day. It's going to be a great event. Frontage and Top Fuel, Nostalgia Funny Car. A lot of the guys there in Bristol will be there this weekend. Fuel Altered will be there as well, along with other great classes. So it'll be a great weekend.
Fuel Alters for life.
Fuel Alters for life. They actually kick off qualifying Thursday with one session, and they have 2 more sessions Friday and final eliminations on Saturday. So it should be a great event. But next race for me, I'm going to try my hardest to get to the final Mile High Nationals in Denver, Colorado. And of course, I will be at Sonoma for the Sonoma Nationals in late July. So Western Swing coming up. And if you think about it, this is the final Western Swing.
You might make a Northwest Nationals too.
Oh, yeah. Northwest Nationals too. Yeah. You got to do the whole thing. I mean, you have to. This is the final Western Swing, basically, technically. For right now.
You could say.
Yeah, for right now. Final Western Swing. Yeah. So, got to do it.
You got to do it. Maybe it could become Boise, Kent, Washington, Sonoma, California.
We can see that. Yeah. Yeah. Boise, I've never been, but it's a great racetrack. And they actually have the return road in front of the grandstand. So, the return road is right in front, so. No, excuse me. The staging lanes are right in front of the grandstand, not the return road, but the actual staging lanes. So you get to see the drivers, suiting up and getting in the cars right in front of the grandstand. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So you can nag them. You can hack, kind of lie.
Yeah, and it's kind of old school too, because the tow vehicles go down the track after the run, like back in the day.
That is old school.
Yeah.
Places such as, I think that happens still at Mocan, and there's still tracks where that happens, and it's neat. You get to cheer on the crew as they're going down, and it's a neat dynamic.
I was watching I think it was the 89 race from Maple Grove, the 89 Keystone Nationals. And as they're going to commercial, you see the tow vehicles for Top Fuel going down the racetrack. And I was like, dang, this is even 89. And they're going down the racetrack, to pick up the drivers, after a run. I thought that was pretty cool to see.
Andrew asks, wasn't there some controversy around the Nostalgia Nationals last year? Well, yes. First of all, let me say there always seems to be controversy around anything Heritage Series for whatever reason. But
don't do that.
You know, Top Fuel did not run.
Don't do that. Don't do that. We've gotten past that. We've gotten past that. It's in the past. It's in the past. We don't have to talk about that anymore. You know.
But Top Fuel was a part of the controversy right here last year.
That is true. That is true. That is true. Yeah. Only 2 cars showed up last year. Brendan Murray and Tyler Hilton, and they faced off for the money and the cash and the points, and Tyler Hilton got the win, and that basically springboarded him to the championship last year. So, but also had a dominant performance in Bakersfield, so they earned that championship last year. But yeah, it was a lot of controversy within the frontage and top field class last year at the Holly Hot Rod reunion. Now,
controversy.
Yes,
that carried on into 2023.
Yeah, but like I said, that's in the past. You know, we ain't got to talk about that no more. It's a new day, new event. Finally go put some points up on the board for Top Fuel. Funny Cars, they're doing their things. Field officers out there. We ain't got to talk about that.
DRC, have you lost your ever-loved drag racing mind? They ran in front of nobody.
And to the 8th mile.
That's all I'm going to say.
And nothing against 8th mile. It's just that they pride themselves on going full quarter mile. So,
Thank you, Slim and Sam. I know I look good. I've been getting all the looks. We miss you too, man.
Hey, new profile picture too. I like it. Looking sharp.
Yes. Hey, Sam's styling and profiling down there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I like the peach blazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Go play Monopoly, Darren. We'll talk to you later.
I've played Monopoly before. It's just I don't play it regularly. Do black people play Monopoly?
See how you phrase that? Folks, the Competition Plus Power Hour is no longer talking about drag racing, which is our core conversation on this show, obviously. So we're going to end the show at this moment. Darren, always fun and great guest tonight with David Davies, Mopar Madi. Hope her career takes off, flourishes, and that she has got a great career ahead of. Man, before we do go, is it not kind of refreshing to hear someone say, I want to run factory stock, like not Top Fuel, not Funny Car, like I want to run factory stock. That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I was actually going to mention that during the interview, but, it just seems like a great young girl and, coming up through the ranks. And, I wish her the best. I want to see how far she gets, man.
Yes. And as said, great to have the GOAT on the show each and every time.
And it's Willis, not Wally, if it's black.
Also, if you win back-to-back, you've got to put your Wallies back-to-back.
Yes. End the show before we get canceled.
Yes. Everybody, good night. Thank you for watching the Competition Plus Power Hour. I am Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. I'll see you at the track if you're at Cordova. Hard to say. And that over there is Mr. Darren Williams Jr.
Did you say that? Wow. That over there.
I did, didn't I?
Wow.
Yeah, really I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. This kind sir over there.
That's better. That's better.
Darren Williams Jr., American Hot Rod Entertainment, assistant editor for CompetitionPlus.com. You can read his work. Still haven't read the Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos and the Chaos in the Cornfield review, but we're just not saying anything on that, are we?
Good night, everybody.